Hey there, I'm Lockie, and today I'll be talking about the new Ghost single drop, Jesus He Knows Me, the cover of Genesis's original, and the upcoming EP drop on the 19th of May for Phantomime, which is a 5-cover EP. This whole announcement really blindsided me, and I've been in a particularly bad depression episode recently, and it lifted my spirits quite a lot. So I thought that I've given it a day to simmer, and I'll just kind of like talk about it a bit more. I'll watch the music video again for like this 10th time, just to get the creative juices flowing, and then get a little bit of discussion of that straight after. So yeah, but yeah, I'm so excited for this. There's just so much I have to say about it, and I'll follow the actual music video discussion up with the Jesus Talk with Father Jim DeFrock video 30-minute podcast session that we got afterwards. That's like that accompanies this, because I watched that just before finally, and it had me laughing very much. I was enjoying it. So yeah, I'll get into that. If you're new here, I'm doing something a little bit unorthodox, and I'm deciding to make a new channel dedicated to me discussing music and things. And so if you've recognized me from somewhere else, that'll be why. But I haven't even decided the channel name for this yet, so this will just be springing up whenever. And yes.
Give. Thank you. The Lord thanks you. Jesus loves you, and Jesus loves your donations. Thank you. Settle. Jesus, he sees your promise in heaven. It's yours. For those who give. Thank you. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you very much. Single's okay. You're officially defrocked. All right.
Okay, so there, in the music video, Jesus, He Knows Me, from Ghost, we get an insight into, looks like a little tape, compiled by our boy Jim DeFrock, Father Jim DeFrock, and his journey through the afternoon sermon, and God, is it quite the Odyssey. Push aside all the opulence and decadence that he engages in there, that lifestyle. This is just a comment on the total hypocrisy and two-facedness of the modern church scene, right? Especially the American church scene and the Protestant churches, the big sort of high energy, really greedy monoliths that you see with these big preachers that and in the lyrics you say, "Do as I say, not don't do as I do," or "not as I do," showing like these big figures who preach the what is good and gracious, but then do the complete opposite, and don't live by the word whatsoever. And when you watch Jesus talk with Father Jim DeFrock, you see the that seep through into those lives. Both those personas, not really same person, crossing over and the borders intermixing. And I really like how this character plays that satirical role in highlighting and underlining that just real hypocrisy. And there's so many things to call into question in Jesus talk with Father Jim DeFrock. The father says that he loves that song, Genesis's Jesus, He Knows Me, completely ignoring all the lyrics that match the character that he is. And there's especially those lines of infidelity, saying, "I believe in the family, in my loving wife, but she don't know about my girlfriend or the man I met last night." And you see him singing those lyrics loud and proud, not even taking into account, I'm not even considering the implications that has for him as someone like that. Maybe that blindness, that blindness, that just completely being unfazed by it all and just so sure of what you're doing is true and proper, and that just delusion that seems to precede him. I love it. He's like, you have Cardinal Copia, who's like this virgin stay-at-home boy, and then you have this promiscuous priest who they're both the polar opposites of what their stations entail. And I love this character, man. You know, that scene of him with the tape, which I don't know, stringing a tape to a VHS to a TV broadcast doesn't really make sense technology wise, but okay. The AR scene with him was pulling out an assault rifle and shooting up in an otherwise holy scene is fantastic. And there's just so much to dissect here, and it works so well with Genesis's original lyrics. And you can hear in Ghost's cover that they have tweaked a little bit, just a few words for clarity's sake. And I just think that they really hit the nail on the head with this, and it's quite enjoyable. I was sitting there laughing in my head, at least, and just smiling along, making mental notes, not trying to speak too much. But there's just so much to analyze and praise, if I will. Take away any biases I have as a massive Ghost fan. This is just a real nosedive into, and in the best way possible, because the topic itself is one of particular sourness and stupidity and inefficaciousness. So I think there's a particularly good dive into the foray into the topics that it's in the subject matter. And I think that Father Jim DeFrock does his due diligence of being this satirical character, this symbol for what these real churches stand for, and just like the solid hypocrisy that make up their foundations. And I really think we should all thank God for that. As a Catholic, it is a really good, not just because this is a Protestant church from everything I can tell, not that it's like a begrudging agreement. It's a real indictment on the church, on the Christianity itself in its modern form, and that being, especially with that Protestant outlook, and how the Protestant Reformation came about due to the church's disgusting traditions of pushing indulgences for dead, deceased babies who couldn't be judged in either making it to heaven or hell. So the church would just bully money out of people to get them out of a so-called purgatory. And then the people like Father Jim DeFrock doing that exact same thing, which Protestantism sought to destroy. It's like you've become that thing that you sought to destroy, right? That whole meme. And I love that. It's a really important perspective and light to shed onto the matter. And his whole lifestyle that Jim leads is just one that these big church players do, especially in the United States. They play this massive, all throughout North America, they play this massive game of influence over people, and it is disgusting, the amount of things that they get away with. You would think even now in an age of great atheistic departure from a mainstream Catholic, mainstream Protestant, a mainstream Christian, not even Anglican Catholic Protestant, just a mainstream Christian viewpoint and belief and lifestyle, you would think that we wouldn't have as many issues, but there are big players in the church industry, and I am emphasizing industry because it shouldn't be an industry, it should be something of holiness, but instead it's just a money maker. It's a corporate fat cow, right? It's a piggy bank you can dip your little fingers into and take what you want, and that's what Jim DeFrock is doing. Obviously, exaggeratingly, taking it straight out of his churchgoers' hands, but these corporations that are in power today physically do. And they don't stick to their biblical interpretations and hold them as steadfast ideologies and beliefs. They treat them as points of manipulation and systems whereby they can take control of people. And Jim DeFrock just really emphasizes and inhabits that role so well. And I think Ghost really did well with it. I want to know I'm trying to find the actor for the father, because he does such a good job with the accent, especially in Jesus Talk. It's just such a blast. I love it. He's that southern sort of drawl to him, and that really nice, feels like a real priest, if I'm being honest. Father, Reverend. That is just taking the music video at face value, alongside the lyrics. When you look at Jesus Talk with Father Jim DeFrock, which is a deeper dive into the character and shows the day life of the character, and this little podcast thing he's running, then you see the cracks seem to start to form and all that goo seeping through those cracks, and how sometimes this does impact these people's normal lives, the facade that they lead, right? Throughout this podcast episode, you can consistently throughout it hear Father Jim DeFrock doing some lines of cocaine, doing that nice his many mistresses from his nights out, calling in and him putting them off as prank calls, men, women, both of them, and then having people like Esther, his a churchgoer at his little false church, come through, and this sort of false prophetarian idea coming in, where he is benefiting from them and thieving from them. And him quoting Corinthians in trying to sow something greater by giving something greater. He's taking money straight out of people's pockets to fund this opulent and disgusting lifestyle that he leads, this degraded lifestyle. And it really shows that he's such a hypocritical character. And you watch this 30 minutes of it, it's such a blast. I was hoping he discussed Ghost at some point, but instead he just gets into like misreading lyrics of metal and rock songs, and saying that he loves Genesis's Jesus He Knows Me, completely avoiding the actual implications of the lyrics, and I just love that. Such an ignorant character. He's literally the definition of an ignoramus. He's a moron, and that really seeks to... It feels befitting for the role of a priest in one of these higher institutions, one of these big sermon-based players in the church machine, if you will. But yeah, no, I think Ghost did a really great job of this. The song is beautiful. I love it. I'm having a blast with it. Just the opening riff is enough to get me just all fired up. I think that even with Genesis's original being so good, and Phil Collins and the crew doing such a good job with that, I just feel like Ghost really nail covers, and they bring something, they bring their own flair to it. All of Popestar does that magnificently. Missionary Man, Bible, Nocturnal Me. There are all these great covers that Ghost and Tobias Forge just has this vision for music that I love, and I will applaud to the end of time, because they bring something so unique and palpable to the play that you just can't not help but enjoy it. And obviously Popestar includes Square Hammer, a great original, that is also worthy of an entirely different and its praise and its own video. I just think that Ghost always brings something unique to covers, so I'm so happy for this new EP. Hopefully I don't get an email saying that that my copy of that of Phantomime, which I secured last night, has been sold out. I know it's already been sold out, but now it's just a waiting game of getting that EP and playing it for myself. I cannot wait. I'm so excited for this. Such great news to bring me out of this divot. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope you like this song and are excited for Phantomime as well. Obviously, if you're new, which I'm imagining you are, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to, comment down below what you think of this song, and maybe just your general thoughts on Ghost, if you're not a particularly big fan of them, how you feel, and even contradictions. If you don't like this, then what do you have to say about it? Yeah, thank you so much for sticking around, and I will see you in whatever video I do next, which will probably be a breakdown of Brick Hell.